Previously on the Frontier Farmer. We are well into autumn, as you can see by the morning misty haze. Weeds are absolutely rife, but not to worry, we can deal with those, but it will have to be later. The rush is to get new field all nicely mown. Let's get this mowing underway. Yeah, once we've got this all baled up, we'll get the bales collected with the telehandler and put into the new but small bale shack. And there we go. The bale rescue has completed. So I think the last few bales are probably quite wet, but hopefully they will dry out in the shed. I think this will be the first time herbiciding with the International Harvester. There we go. We'll get to spraying and should be hopefully quite a quick job to get all these weeds destroyed. I think next month and over winter I have a couple of ideas of some more productions that are going to help keep us busy. Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Frontier Farmer at the Dark Forest. It's now November, and we're in the skid steer first of all this morning, because we're going to go fetch some of our nicely baled grass for our sheep to keep them nice and fed and happy over winter. Now I see the milk truck coming. I think that is Richard coming to fetch another batch of milk from our milk cows, which is very good. That's going to keep the dairy well stocked over the winter period. So we're heading for the makeshift shed that we put on the other side of Newfield that's got all of our bales nicely stacked in there. Well, stacked as best as I possibly could. And we're going to take one or two over to the sheep to keep them nice and happy. And I think we also might need to fetch some TMR for the cows because they looked like they were running a little bit low. Potentially need some water as well. But then we are going to be onto some new plans and some winter projects for the homestead, and that is going to be around wood regeneration or wood farming, I guess you could say. The plan is, and Chuck has given us some of the idea, is to effectively start to plant some of the trees back in the dark forest so we have a sustainable source of wood to feed all of our wood productions, which have started to run a little bit scarce on supply, which is funny when you're in a forest, but we don't just want to chop down and keep chopping for chopping's sake. We do actually want to maintain the forest. So Chuck had a good idea, which was to create a bit of a tree nursery and replant trees and then use the wood that we get from the tree planting to effectively supply our wood productions. Right, I have a whole host of bales here. Is this going to be successful or not? That is the question. Skid steer's a little bit heavy, so we'll take it slow. Let's get back to the sheep and we can drop this near their pen. Alright, we're at the animal farm. Looks like Richard has been and gone with the milk truck. He is quite speedy with his deliveries. But we can nosy on over to the sheep pen. In fact, I think in the far distance I can see Richard coming back for another run, just hurtling through the trees there. He does like to put his foot down, that's for sure. Right, we'll drop a few bales off here. I don't think the sheep are going to take all the grass, but we'll definitely take some. There we go, put a few bales in there so they have enough food over winter. Richard is back to take the second load. Morning, Richard. Yeah, he's very efficient. And oh, we've got a bale just stuck off the end here. I think we'll give that a wee nudge off. There we go, we've stacked them in the actual sheep pen. Keeps it dry and the sheep will have a good amount of grass to keep them busy. Well done, guys. Keep making that wool. We're probably going to need it this winter. I have a feeling it's going to be a cold one. Right, we can head off and get the skid steer parked up again. I think I heard Richard heading off. He's got the next load of milk, so that is good. Yep, he's off on his way. We'll see you later, Richard. We're going to be coming over to Westcreek to sort out this tree farm. Alright, bale fork dropped off. Can shut down. Next on the list, I think the old girls need some more TMR, so let's hop in. Oh, they have actually completely run out of TMR in the mixing wagon. So we better head over. We'll grab some silage, grab some hay, and grab some straw and mix the next batch. We might even have to do 2 batches, we will see. And for silage, we'll roll up to our new silage storage shed. We'll have to just move the Volvo out of the way after, I think it was Stephanie who helped us out by shifting the silage from the bunker to the silage storage yard. Park that away in there. And we might need the skidder later to clear some space for where we're going to place the tree farm at Westcreek. But yes, let's head on back and we can grab some TMR. Now, we have, of course, got some compost ready in our compost bunker. But we're going to leave that because it is winter. The orchard is not going to be making fruit, so we'll leave that to the new year. But let's get reversed up to this silage storage. And we'll put about 33%, I think it is, in terms of silage ratio we want. Maybe even 40%. We'll make it a silage rich ratio. There we go, 41%. I hope that's going to be okay. Right, let's head on round to the hay loft and we can grab hay and straw. Right, hay loft is just through here. And I think it's normally silage and hay that are the main 2 ingredients, and then straw is the filler. Every time you put too much straw in TMR, it ends to just turn bad. So yeah, we just want silage and hay predominantly. So let's fill that in there to hopefully another 40% to get it up to 80. And we'll stop there. And then we'll do the rest as hay. Right, so we want to do... oh, sorry, straw I meant. Yeah, we'll do the rest as straw. There we go. I think that is absolutely perfect as a ratio. We don't do mineral feed as we've not really got access to mineral feed in this day and age. And the 3 combination recipe of silage, hay and straw seems to do just fine. Right, let's do an about turn and get these cows fed. I'm sure they're pretty hungry. And I don't think this will be the first batch of TMR we have to make over the winter period. Yummy TMR. Oh, they nearly took the whole lot, but that is good. 12% left in there, so we can park up the farm wall and the mixing wagon. We'll probably come back to that later in winter to give them another batch load. Right, it's on to setting up our wood farm. So I think I'm going to grab the IFA truck. We need to take some manure over there to supply the wood farm, also Chuck tells me, as manure is going to be a good starting fertilizer for our tree saplings and so forth. And then we will have to supply some water as well, but I have a bit of a plan around that using the creek at Westcreek. So yeah, let's hop on in. Now we're going to need about 10,000 litres of manure, so Chuck said. So we'll grab 10,000 litres. That's we're not going to be taking too much out of the dovecote, which is good. And there's still some straw processing in there to turn into manure, so we should be good. Hello, Granny. And Chuck, I think, is not at the Butchers. He is actually at Westcreek, ready to receive us and help set up the tree farm. Wow, these weeds have gotten very tall from where we harvested the potatoes. That is pretty high. Crikey. Well, I think we are going to be ploughing these fields today. It's a good sort of consistency on the ground, the soil. It's not too wet and it's not too hard because the temperature's still good. So we should be alright. Right, I'm going to park the truck here. And we are going to set up our tree farm site in here. And we'll have to cut down a few trees, ironically, to make space for the tree farm. But it's because there's a shed and a silo for it. So that is the plan. And I think what I might do is run a little track route here through to the coal production. So we have a nice little loop to get in and out. And yeah, the coal production is doing pretty good. So our tree farm is going to help support the small amount of timber that's going to be used to make charcoal. Alright, so chainsaw out. I haven't got to cut too many trees down, but I have got to cut down a few. So let me just see to those, and then I think Richard said he was going to go and grab the skidder for us, so we can just drag them down to the coal production. Don't forget to clear the stumps away. And the usual de-limbing. Right, I think that's all we need to cut away. I think that's been about 6 or so trees. Fantastic. Right, where's Richard with that skidder? Ah, here he comes. Leadfoot as always. Thank you, Richard. Absolute gem as always. We're going to set into motion getting those trees to the coal production. And then we will hopefully have the ability to build the tree farm. So yeah, usual job of winching just up the space there to the coal production, which will be nice and easy. Let's get these front ones out of the way first. Don't know what we would do without this skidder on the Dark Forest. It's been an absolute godsend. Absolutely ploughing through the terrain and dragging these heavy logs. Right, so we should just be able to load the wood in from here. There we go. Got 10,000 litres. I think we're hopefully going to fill up the charcoal production. Winching up the next batch. There we go. Quite a heavy load this, but no match for the mighty skidder. Right, it seems like the coal production is now full, but there's a log left here, so we'll just leave this here to load up when we've used some of the wood to make some nice charcoal. That was nice and easy, wasn't it, Richard? Right, we can just pull the skidder in here out of the way for now and go and see about building our tree farm. Okay, well, let's get constructing. And here it is, our wood farm. And I think Chuck is very excited to see this here. So what have we got? We've got a building, which is going to serve as a bit of a HQ for our wood farm. Then we've got a silo here, which is going to house, I think, some of the... I think solid fertilizer can be used, but also manure can be used for faster gains. And we've got some trees out the back here. But predominantly it is going to be evergreen trees that we are looking to grow, and that is going to produce wood. Right, let's take a little look at what we need to get this up and running for Chuck. There we go. So the wood farm, and we have a couple of options. We can make wood slow, and then 2 options to make wood fast. One which uses solid fertilizer and manure, and the other uses solid fertilizer and slurry. We don't have any slurry, so it's going to be manure, and I think it can take 10,000 litres like Chuck said. Now the slow recipe is just water and solid fertilizer, so don't think we are going to use that. And you can also make planks here, as there is a saw out the front for chopping down the wood into planks, but we don't need that. We've got a whole sawmill, so this is just going to be used to provide in a sustainable way all of our productions with wood. Now, water is a key ingredient in these recipes, so to combat that, just down here at the end of Westcreek South, actually at Westcreek, we have put in a water distributor. So this is a water tank effectively, which is pumping water out of Westcreek, and that is going to send a little pipe up to our wood farm and supply it with fresh water, which is fantastic. Right, the water distributor is up and running, pumping water to our tree farm. So we are going to get manure deposited in here, and we had prepared and brought a truckload with us. So let's jump in the IFA and get this deposited in. Alright, it's a bit tight, but I think manure is only accepted around the back here. So here we go, we can drop off the 10,000 litres, and then we'll have to nip back to the homestead to grab some solid fertiliser. Now Richard is kindly taking the skidder back to the homestead for us as we're done using that today. Christ, he's off. Lead foot that, Richard. I think he's slowed down a little bit on the bridge. Doesn't want to be ending up in the drink, that's for sure. Right, I think we can possibly drop off a bit of manure back into the dovecote, I'm hoping, as yeah, we don't want to be wasting this. Then round the bend here to pick up some solid fertiliser. Now it seems I was completely mistaken. It is seeds, and 4,000 litres is what we want. There we go, a little bit over, but that's fine. So yeah, it's water, seeds, and then either manure or slurry, not solid fertiliser. So yeah, I guess the seeds make sense. That's going to help with the trees being planted. Alright, we are back. Let's swing round to the wood farm. And it's quite funny saying wood farm. It's a bit of a odd thing to farm. But I guess that's a thing, really, to sustainably create wood. Unless you're just chopping down forests, you need to have some way of replanting the trees. Otherwise, it's just not sustainable at all. So, yeah, you must have tree farms in order to have a steady flow of trees. Seems that seeds are dropped around the back as well. So let's drop them off. There we go, small amount left in there, but that's fine. We can deposit that into our silo. Okay, so we can park the truck up here for a little bit. Richard is going to be jumping in the Volvo to crack on with the ploughing of Westcreek North and South. Whilst he's getting set up, let's inspect our wood farm and get things underway. Fantastic. So we have our water, we have our seeds, we have our manure. I'm not sure why I ever thought seeds was solid fertilizer, because of course seeds is listed here. So we are going to activate this, and it's going to use 1.5 units of water, 0.5 units of seed, and 0.15 units of manure to make 1 unit of wood. And then the plan is to use our workers at Lake Point and Riverways to deliver that wood to the various wood productions we have. Fantastic. So I think Chuck is happy that he's got another thing to work on, and it is going to sustain the charcoal production, which is fantastic. Right, I think Richard is just about to get set up in the Volvo and do some ploughing. So we're going to watch over him this afternoon. Okay, so in true Richard style, Richard has finished, leaving the tractor in the middle of the field. He's done an okay job on Westcreek South, but Westcreek North he's left 2 patches. Pretty obviously, if you ask me. I think sometimes he does it deliberately just to keep us on our toes, and he always scurries off without putting the equipment away, but not to worry, we will do that. Right, whilst we've been busy working, I think Chuck has got some of the first trees planted in the tree farm, which is good, and I think that is going to be hopefully supplying wood to our wood productions in the coming months, which is grand. Right, we'll put the plough away for Richard, and I think this cultivator or weeder, can't remember what it is, also needs putting away. So we'll get that seen to, and then we can head back to the homestead, where I think it's just the manure spreading job of Newfield. I think I am going to spread manure on Newfield, because we do want to make sure we get a good quantity of hay in the new year on the first cut, and the grass is not growing at the moment, so it's okay to drive on and manure spread. Here we go, this is, yes, the crop cultivator, so we'll get that attached, parked away in front of the plough, and then we can leave the Volvo in there too. There we go. Right, fields are looking pretty good, ready for us to come along and put potatoes in the new year. Now I am going to try and make the proper ridges when it is potato planting season in the new year. So I think we are going to be purchasing a new ridge maker, and we will have to manure spread as well, but I'm not going to do that now, or Richard's not going to do that now, or rather, because just don't want to leave manure in for too long a period, as it might end up not being its best potency for fertilizing when it does come to potato planting season. Right, let's get back to the homestead. We'll jump in the Terrogator and get Newfield nicely muck spread. The grass is growing, so it's quite happy to receive manure now. Right, IFA parked away, and we can head over to the Terrogator. I think we might have to top it up with manure. We'll see how much it has in there. 27%, not bad, but we will top it up, and then hopefully that will see us through the whole field manure spreading. Manure spreading all done. The Terrogator does an absolutely fantastic job and pretty speedy as well. I think we ended up with what we started with in terms of the volume of manure in there, so yeah, it tends to use the same each time round. Did it fairly efficiently, so not too much wasted, which is good. So this is fully fertilized. We're going to get a 98% yield bonus from our grass come the new year. And we're going to turn that into hay, which will be nice. We haven't made hay in a little while. We, of course, did a couple of cuts of grass to go in our silage bunker. And then the last cut, we actually just made grass bales for our sheep. So that is going to keep good stocks for the time being. Well, for the foreseeable, actually. Now we have our canola in here, which we weeded, along with Stone End Field, where our barley is. So yeah, these crops we don't need to touch until harvest time, which is good. So it's a bit of a waiting game now, and I don't think we've got too much else planned over winter. It's just going to be keeping the animals well fed, keep the productions going. I'm not sure if there's any other winter projects to keep us busy. So it might just be bunkering down over winter until the spring arrives. But that is it for today. Bit of an early finish as these winter days do draw in. But I hope you have enjoyed. If you have, remember to drop a like and subscribe if you haven't already. If you've got any tips, tricks or things you'd like me to do, feel free to leave a comment. But all there's left to say is, I hope to see you again next time on The Frontier Farmer. And until then, catch you later. Cheers all. Bye bye.